I, Professor R. Rajesh, Department of Sociology, Bangalore University, Bangalore, and this becomes a part of Indian Sociological Society's initiative to document senior faculty members who have served for more than 3 to 4 decades in the universities and colleges, and people who have contributed immensely to the knowledge of sociology. In that direction, today we are having conversation with Professor D Jayalakshmi, who has served in the Department of Sociology, University of Madras, Chennai. Madam, namaskar. We have listened about you, learned about you. We had our associations for quite a long time, and I have visited the university when you had organized the conferences in Chennai. Then I was a very young faculty, but I must admire the courage that you had taken, the leadership that you had, and again, the kind of event that you had organized had set a milestone. But at the same time, I have learned that you have served the university in the Department of Sociology in different capacities. You have also worked in various other administrative positions. You have also engaged yourself in government programs of carrying out various research activities, policy formation, and various international organizations as well. I would like to ask simple questions to know how your journey has been. It is for the larger audience and also for documenting your journey, and also probably a message to the younger generation how they can frame their dreams and their journey can be. So, my first humble request would be to uh, express your opinion in terms of how you started your journey as a student and then thereupon.
Thank you, Dr. Rajesh, for your kind words in your introduction about me. Um, at the outset, I would like to convey my deep sense of appreciation to the Indian Sociological Society team for navigating such an impactful program across the nation. I'm sure this program would shed a light on significant contributions of various thinkers, various professors in different spheres. I'm also confident that this program would inspire the next generation sociologists to frame the future of sociology. At this juncture, I would like to congratulate Dr. Maitreyi Chowdhury and her team for embarking upon such a preeminent endeavor. I'm also thankful to her for having given me an opportunity to uh, share my views with the younger generation in this platform. And now coming to my entry into academics from my student days, it is very interesting to inform you that I was with a science background for my pre-university. Then I have applied for chemistry. I was given admission for BA Social Sciences. My father wanted to influence the principal and get admission in chemistry department. But principal said, you wait for some time, her name is in the waiting list. I will accommodate her in the science stream. For the time being, she can be with the social science department. We accepted that. I entered the department and I started attending the classes. When my teachers started talking about marriage, family, kinship, culture, I was enamored about the subject. I got impressed. I was deeply drawn into the subject. I told my father, I'm not going to shift my subject at all. I will continue only in this. My father told me, what is this? What are you going to do with this subject? I said, I can do my IAS, I can do my BL. There are so many other opportunities with this subject I can do. I can do some service to the society also, I told. Then he could not force me. I continued to stay in the BA Social Sciences course. That time there was no sociology course at all. Then I have completed my BA Social Sciences in 1971 and I have applied for MA Sociology at the University of Madras. I completed my MA Sociology in 1973. I'm very proud to say that I belong to the first batch of MA Sociology in the Madras University.
Very nice.
And then I have um, registered for my doctoral degree in 1974. That's how my entry into sociology has come up to.
Now, after being a student, probably you would have entered into universities and colleges as a faculty. Could you throw some light on that?
So definitely. 1976, I was appointed as a lecturer on temporary basis. Later, in 1978, I was appointed as a lecturer on permanent basis. In 1984, I was recruited through direct recruitment as a reader in the department. Then in 1992, actually, I was elevated as a professor through MPS program.
Okay.
So that's how my career started. I worked in the department till the end of that particular decade. And after that, I had a lot of opportunities to work with various organizations. For instance, after my retirement, I was, for a very brief period, I was with IIT Madras as a guest faculty. After that, I was invited by uh, Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Youth Development, which is a Government of India organization which comes under the Ministry of Youth Affairs. They have invited me as a professor. I have joined there as a professor, but I was given additional responsibilities as control of examination, registrar, and so on. I worked in that institution till 2016. After that, I was associated with Madras School of Economics.
Okay.
So it is also one of the best institutions for economics in the country. It was started by Dr. Rangarajan, Dr. Radha Chalaya, who were the Reserve Bank governors. And I had carried out a lot of projects in that institute um, funded by international organizations. So I continued to work there till 2023.
Okay. So it's almost like 5 decades of your journey in sociology
Yes, yes.
with the institutions and beyond institutions. In the post-retirement period, I believe you have engaged yourself in some projects and research activities. How was that? And again, how could you get into that particular framework? And
I just, like I don't look at academics and research in the parallel track. I always see that my research experience has been, had some kind of impact on the academics also. To begin with, I started working for my research in the area of sociology of organization, with particular reference to role conflict among the medical and paramedical professionals in the hospital organization. But I could not sustain my interest in that area for a longer period for various reasons. But that experience enabled me to come out with a very good program. That is, I have designed a very interesting program, that is MA Corporate Sociology. That I have designed the entire course with 20 papers. In 1980s and 90s, there was an IT boom, and the corporate sector was coming up in Chennai. I wanted to rather make hay out of that. I wanted to give job opportunities for our students. With that intention, I worked hard and I have prepared that. I designed the course with 20 papers almost. Around that time, UGC called for innovative proposals. I have my university has forwarded my proposal. Fortunately, it was selected by the University Grants Commission for Innovative Program. They had the resource support of 45 lakhs for the implementation of the program for the initial first 5 years. After that, university is supposed to continue the program with their own resource. So that's what I have developed. It was very well developed, well received program, as a matter of fact. And most of the students, they had placements in corporate sector also. But after 3 years after the inception of that program, I was retired. After 5 years implementation of that program with the UGC support, university could not continue with the program, perhaps due to the lack of resource support. That's how my research contribution in the area of sociology of organization helped me to design that course. So that was the time many people from different parts of the country started sending me mails requesting for the syllabus in corporate sociology. I still remember I have shared the syllabus with Christchurch University in Bangalore, and they continue to offer the program but with a slight variation. That is due to the UGC norms. That is MA Sociology with a specialization in corporate sociology. So that's how my research work has contributed for that program.
Madam, as you mentioned that you had simultaneously teaching, research, and also administrative activities. Of course, research is a continuous process. I'll come back to those questions little later. But could you explain more in terms of you had occupied different administrative positions? How it impacted you as an individual and also an academician or the subject?
In actually, I joined Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Development as professor. It was an evolving institute, and it was deemed to be a university then. It had its teething problems. So they didn't have the statutory positions also they sanctioned. So they have given me the additional charge of control of examination first.
Oh, wonderful.
I had to establish the entire wing during that period. I had to constitute the statutory bodies, boards, then I have to define the duties and responsibilities of the incumbents in that wing, and I have to evolve the rules and regulations for every aspect of the examination process. As such, I had to develop even the formats right from the answer script to that of the grade sheet and the degree certificate.
Okay.
So it took a little bit of time for me. After completing that, I had to conduct the examination and semester examination and demonstrate how the examination process could take place for the academic staff as well as for the. I have demonstrated the process for academic staff as well as the teaching staff. After examination was conducted, they have posted me as registrar in charge.
Okay.
Even there, it was a clean slate. System was not in place. I had to constitute all the statutory bodies like managing committee, academic council, board of studies, everything, and the rules and regulations for the university. And even for getting the University Act passed in Parliament, I had to do a lot of spade work. Though I was not directly involved in that, I had to do a lot of spade work in that context. So that's how I was given a lot of opportunity there to work in administrative position, and these are my humble contributions to that evolving organization.
Okay, you held the position of control of examination and registrar for the first time, and you started that as a thing. Generally, there is some sort of a notion saying that behind every successful man there is a woman, but behind a successful man, who is behind you, and what is the inspiration?
And there are a lot of people who have inspired me, who have been the source of inspiration for me right from the childhood.
Yes.
And I had a vision for myself.
Okay.
So the only thing, like I always felt that whatever the position I take up, I have to give my best.
Oh.
So that without any expectation. So that way, whatever the responsibilities I was assigned, I used to give my best. That helped me a lot in evolving myself.
Okay. You mentioned that you have introduced two different courses, one on organization, corporate sociology. Similarly, you also worked on gender-related issues. How did that journey start?
That is a very interesting journey. In 1975, International Women's Year was declared by UN. It was followed by the Women's International Decade. So that was a time a lot of debate was going on nationwide again about gender issues. And there was a strong advocacy from second wave feminism for the revolutionary changes to be taken place in all walks of life, social, cultural, economic, everything. At the time, even the judiciary and the legislature were totally preoccupied with this kind of gender issues. and all the government departments were also stimulated to have integrate the gender components within their programs as such, and lot of resource support was also there for these programs. And uh, I was automatically I was drawn, being a woman, automatically I was drawn into that sphere.
Okay.
Then I started doing research in that area, and most of my students have done research in that area.
But why only Professor D Jayalakshmi? There are other women academicians in the university. So what made the university to pick you as the director of Women's Studies Center or to take the initiative?
So, but I have never been the director of women's studies.
Okay.
I've been a women's studies specialist in the Department of Sociology.
Okay.
In the capacity of that specialization, I was able to extend my services to different organizations.
Okay. Okay.
For instance, at that time, Mother Teresa Women's University was started in Tamil Nadu. Padmavati Mahila University was started in Andhra Pradesh. There were a lot of gender studies departments started in various universities. In collaboration with all these institutions, I was able to share the gender studies program at various levels.
Okay.
So that was my first contribution. I was a resource person in various institutions of this kind. And in collaboration with those institutions, I was able to organize seminars. I was able to organize feminist research methodology workshops. And I have conducted a lot of gender sensitization programs,
Yes.
not only for academics and academicians and students, but also for government department officials.
That was the UGC's mandate to have some sort of gender sensitization programs.
Even in our university, we had academic staff college.
Hmm.
For every discipline, they used to have that gender studies program, one workshop. I used to conduct this workshop there also.
So any special incident that you can recollect upon under the sectionalization
I
programs?
worked with the NGO sector extensively.
Okay.
In collaboration with the NGO sector, I have worked for women empowerment, and they used to invite me to different women empowerment groups at various levels, including the villages. I used to go and I used to interact with them. When 73rd Amendment was introduced, reservation for women in Panchayat Raj institution was
Being discussed, yeah.
granted. Then there was an opportunity for me to work with NGOs in training women for leadership programs. Women were totally hesitant; they were not coming up, especially the scheduled caste women. They were not coming up, though the constituencies were reserved for them.
Okay.
So like we had to give a lot of motivation, confidence, and even after getting elected also in the reserved constituencies, and we used to give guidance and we used to motivate them to work.
So you went down to grassroots level
Yes.
to empower them and also
Yes.
sensitize. Okay, wonderful. Apart from this sensitization programs, how are you involved with the common man or the other part of the society apart from academics?
So I always had soft corner for abused women,
Okay.
and I had some kind of association with social welfare department, women development corporation also, and whenever there are certain cases coming up, and we used to counsel them, we used to give them the confidence, we used to counsel them, and even for the government departments also we used to tell them that how they can overcome the kind of problem they were facing through. So that way we had some kind of community interaction also.
Your journey has been in terms of universities, administrative positions, gender sensitization, but you also had some sort of connection and also you have worked with some irrigation related projects. So that's very interesting. I would like to know more about that.
In 1980s, World Bank has supported Tamil Nadu government, that is the PWD department, for irrigation management in river basins.
Okay.
I think World Bank has supported with more than 100 crores or so.
Oh.
Yeah. The primary objectives of that was to improve the physical structure of the river system.
Okay.
That is dams, canals, sluices, etc. That is the number one. Number two, they had to design the crops according to the availability of the water for different seasons. That is the second one. Third one is actually um, there was misappropriation of water by the big landlords,
Oh.
higher caste people, and head rich farmers.
Mhm.
So the World Bank was very particular that all the marginalized groups, they should be given equal rights. They should have a say. They should have right. So we have to prepare some guidelines, give them the training, and also finally we have to bring out the public and private management of river basin.
Okay.
That was the first time I think in India it was done.
Wonderful.
And uh, for that purpose, actually, um, Center for Water Resources, which was in the Technological University, that is Anna University in Chennai, that was taken up as the consultancy firm. There were engineers, there were agronomists, there were civil engineers, irrigation engineers, agronomists. But as per the mandate of the World Bank, there has to be a sociologist and gender studies specialist.
Yes.
In that capacity, I was included in that consultancy firm.
Okay.
I started working. So the engineers were responsible for the physical structure and improvement of the physical structure of the river basin as such, entire basin as such. Agronomists were responsible for designing the crops according to the availability of the water for all the seasons. As a sociologist, I was responsible to identify the problems involved in the sharing of water,
Okay.
irrigation management as such. We had to conduct, of course, I was not the only person, all the other team members also were involved in that. We had to travel all along the river system, meet the various stakeholders in every village there and interact with them, find out the problems they were facing.
So you had to more on the river basins, different routes of the
Of
river.
course, we had research assistants also.
Mhm.
A big group of research assistants were there. Initially, we had to train them. For that purpose, we used to go personally and we used to interact with them and find out the problem that they were having.
Were there any cultural differences within the different parts of the river basins?
Structural, so like you will have the main river system, and along the main river system, you will have the canals.
Mhm.
Along the canals, you will have the different sluices. So the river water has to flow through all the river basin should be covered.
Okay.
And the people living in the entire basin, they should have the access to the water.
Okay.
So if there is any physical problem, actually, some people will not be able to get. So the proper infrastructure has to be developed. Infrastructure is already there, but improvements needed to be done.
Okay.
So engineers have taken up the responsibility to improve that. So that way it has happened. In that particular project, what I have learned, very interesting phenomenon is that there is no hierarchy between the researcher and the researched.
Oh, that's interesting.
All the farmers were the partners in our research program.
Okay.
Sometimes, the kind of indigenous knowledge they had, the insights they have provided for the improvement of the irrigation management, that was more revealing for us.
Okay. I believe those documents are much more
Yeah.
resourceful for the students too.
That is one dimension. Another thing what I have learned was, whatever the traditional conservative method that we use in fundamental research and sociology, they are not useful in that particular context because it is an action research.
Okay.
So that we have to use applied methodology tools like PRAs, RRAs, focused group interviews, that kind of thing. And even World Bank officials have given us the orientation to conduct that kind of tools. And with that, we were able to successfully identify all kinds of physical, social, cultural, all kinds of issues we were able to identify. After identifying the issues, we had to evolve. One step ahead we go there, evolve the strategic solutions to the problem.
Okay.
And we have evolved the strategic solution, rules and regulations, and we had to formulate farmers association. Farmers association at the sluice level, farmers association at the canal level, and all the canals level associations had to be federated into the River Basin Association. After formulating that, after training them, we have given the rules and regulations for the association they have to follow. That way, we were able to, um, help the marginalized groups to assert their rights for
Okay.
water. They had voice in the forum to speak about their issues and get their share. That kind of provision was made there. After training them, the federation was handed over to the public works department. Then they tried to promote the public and private management for the irrigation management in the river basin.
Okay. You have engaged yourself with academics, administrative positions, and now research organizations and then government. And you also had exposure with some of these international organizations. I would like to know, or probably the audience and again the people who would like to understand the depth of it. How is it that these activities had policy implications?
But actually, I had a different kind of experience with the policy formulation and the policy implementation. When I was with Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Youth Development, the ministry wanted to develop a policy, youth policy. And policies cannot be just like that formulated by individuals or group of people. They need to have a scientific evidence base about the issues they are dealing with. So they have identified one national level consultancy firm and they have entrusted the responsibility of conducting a big survey across the nation in all the states and all the stakeholders of youth groups.
Okay,
And I was not directly involved in that project implementation, but as a registrar of that institute, I was updated with the development of the project as such. After the project was over, they had given a very good presentation at our university
okay,
institute, and we had very intensive interaction on various issues there. So that process enabled me to understand how the policy formulation takes place. So we always feel that sociologists are not considered for policy formulation, but we should have the capacity to conduct this kind of national surveys with reference to the problem, identifying the problems for the stakeholders.
How to change his perspective? Why is it that sociologists are
That
not?
that part I will come to that part a little later.
Okay.
Now, another experience I had. Youth Development Index, which is interrelated. That is why I am trying to talk about that also. Youth Development Ministry wanted to develop Youth Development Index in parallel with Human Development Index. I was actually they have entrusted the responsibility to me. I had no clue of constructing the index. I told them very frankly, I'm not able to do that. I can't do that. But the Joint Secretary of the Ministry said, "Madam, you can do it. You will do it. I'll give you the freedom. You have an advisory council. And based on that, you try to do that. Based on their advice, you try to do that." Then I have identified economists who are very good at constructing index. Two of them are from Isaac Bangalore, one from Madras School of Economics, and there were also other few people. These are the main people who guided us. And along with them, there were observers from UNICEF and UNFPA in that advisory group. Every once in 3 months they used to meet, come to the institute, and they used to guide us. They used to review the progress of the project. They used to guide us further. That's how we were able to complete the project within 2 years. The ministry was also quite happy about it. During the course of that time, UNFPA representative who was on our advisory board, he requested me to make a policy evaluation for the government of Odisha. UNFPA actually, they were supporting, they were giving, extending resource support to Odisha government to implement the youth policy there. They were also giving the technical support for them to implement the program. But they wanted to have the third party evaluation, so they invited me. They said, "Please conduct the evaluation and give us the report." And I have taken it up, though I have not done it earlier, I have taken it up. Then in the course of that project, I have understood how the policy is being implemented. Usually, if it is a youth policy, it comes directly under the Ministry of Youth Affairs. but it doesn't mean they have to implement all the programs by that ministry alone. There are a lot of components, a lot of indicators. Education is there, health is there. There are so many things. So policy goals will be set, policy components will be identified, and like programmatic interventions will also be designed.
Okay.
And each programmatic intervention will be assigned to each government department, different departments. But youth ministry will be coordinating that project through the department. All the departments, at least once a month, they will meet together. They will discuss about the progress of the implementation of the policy as such. And if there are any hurdles, they try to resolve by discussing over the issue. So that's how it was going on. What I have understood was, previously we used to think that a policy is implemented only by one department. Now I have understood there is a greater need for the perfect coordination among the various departments involved for the implementation of one particular policy through various programmatic interventions. That was very important. Another thing what I have understood was, I have not seen anywhere that kind of mechanism. They have evolved a mechanism where they can have the evaluation of the program at every step, whether they are going in the right direction or not, whether there are any hurdles, then how to address that. So like they have evolved a mechanism. Through the mechanism, people will meet, they will discuss, they'll try to, then and there they will try to resolve the issues then. That is one important one. Other one is, the mechanism had some component for evaluation of the effective implementation of the policy as such. So that was also there. In addition to that, there was some kind of provision in that policy to make impact assessment of these programs.
Okay.
So that is, so like small studies, impact assessment studies used to be carried out. In addition to that, most interesting phenomenon in that implementation process was, there was a mechanism for the people to give their feedback about the implementation process. That was more important. They used to give due consideration for the views of the people. They used to take into consideration of their views, identify the issues, and then they used to find solution to the problems. So that project actually, it gave me a very good picture about how the policy is being implemented in the states. That is a good experience. Another experience is index construction. I have told you that I have already explained. For the index construction, actually what we generally do is, we identify the indicators first. Youth Development Index. What are the indicators of the youth development? So like we take 5 or 6 major indicators like education at different levels, income, all that kind of thing, rural, urban, all that kind of thing. Once we identify the indicators, for each one of the indicators, we try to identify the set of indices, at least 5 or 6 indices for each indicator, very important one. After identifying the indicators, we try to find out whether the national level data source is available or not for that particular period. If all these conditions are met, then they will use the sophisticated softwares, and then they try to develop index. Once the index, first overall index will be constructed, and the index value of the national level will be compared with that of the state level. If the state level average index value is lower than the national level average value, those states will be considered as the backward states. Then each one of these overall indexes, after that they will construct index for each one of the indicator for the at the national level and at the state level. Once again, the same process will be carried out to find out which are the states backward in which of the indicators. Again, further, once they identify the states, actually they will go into the district level index. Then after constructing the district level index, they will find out for each of the state what are this districts which are backward in which of the indicators. They will get the correct picture. Then after that, they will develop the programmatic interventions, and they try to address the issues.
Okay. Madam, you were also involved in UNICEF.
Uh,
How was that journey undergone?
That's when the UNICEF official was the observer in our advisory committee. They have seen us working throughout.
Okay.
They have seen us working for the index as well as for the policy evaluation. And they requested me personally, Madam, why don't you do something for us also? They asked. When I went through the literature, I found a lot of work has been carried out with reference to children. That is the area for UNICEF, child development area. I felt, like that adolescence, specifically, there were not many studies. Adolescence is a very crucial stage. It is neither the child nor the adult, but they are vulnerable to lot of other negative influences. So I thought, like personally nowadays with all these videos and other things and all, our children are very vulnerable. If you could do something on that, that will be useful for the children. So I developed a proposal and submitted. They have sanctioned the money, but they said, Madam, we cannot give it to the individual because a huge amount is involved in this, grant is involved in this. So you have to associate yourself with any one of the institutions. I need an economist to work with me to develop the index. So on their suggestion, we have identified, I have identified and associated with the Madras School of Economics. The director of that institute and myself are the co-coordinators. Both of us were the coordinators. We have developed the index. So as I have earlier explained, we have developed the index. In addition to that, that is a part of the major role of the economist. My role was I have to identify what are the programmatic interventions are implemented by the state government for each one of the indicator.
Okay.
That way, there were about 600 programs. I have to make a detailed analysis of these programs. I have to find out whether there are overlaps, duplication, so many things will be there. For example, the same program will be implemented by the state government as well as by the central government. And sometimes there will be different names for the programs, but objectives of the programs will be almost same, and target group will also be same. Sometimes
duplications.
Yes. Sometimes objectives would have been fulfilled, but mechanically they will be continuing the program also. So like that is a redundant program.
So you could intervene there and again do some.
Yes, my role was to identify all these kind of issues and tell them these are the issues which can be either suspended or combined with other programs.
Okay.
Mostly combining with other programs only. Very rarely we try to discontinue the programs. That way, in discussion with each other, both economists and myself, we will decide what are the programs that can be clubbed together, give a different kind of nomenclature, but serving the same goals.
Okay. So in this process, could you save some money of the exchequer?
Yes,
taxpayers'
exactly.
money?
For one of the projects, actually, all of our projects, once the project is over, actually we have to give findings, we have to present our findings to the Planning Commission. Planning Commission members will also be there. They will invite all the department secretaries. If secretaries are not available, preoccupied, the joint secretaries will be there, and other officials will also be there. Even the NGOs who are involved in implementing the program in certain sectors, they will also be invited. There will be around 50 to 60 people there. We have to share our findings. There will be intensive interaction on that. In one of the projects, actually, we have combined certain programs, and the economist has prepared revised budget estimate. They followed that. By following that, they were able to save 20,000 crores for that particular
My
year.
goodness, it's not a small amount.
Yes.
Okay, that's a wonderful revelation. How do you see that, as I understand with this conversation, in 70s you entered into your student days and then you started into your career. 80s you had different opportunities and challenges. 90s you are established, and post 90s into 21st century you are into a different organization. From a micro individual you have gone, and again your horizon has increased to lot more institutional to a much more macro kind of a thing. How do you see the present generation students should take up sociology with this background and exposure of yours?
My experience is our intellectual horizon expands when we work with in an interdisciplinary group.
Yes.
Otherwise, we will be very closed,
Confined to
confined to certain areas only. But whereas when we work with others, we get more insights about the issues. So that helps us. That is very important. More than that, what I feel, we should have some kind of commitment to make sociology job-oriented program.
How do you propose to do that?
So now we have a lot of papers,
Mm.
and we have a lot of departments. For example, you have the sociology, the rural sociology, you have the urban sociology,
Mm.
you have gender studies,
Mm.
you have social issues, social problems. Each department is dealing with each one of these issues, problem. So what you have to do is actually, you have to expose our students to the concerned policies and programs. Our children need to have enlightenment on these programs and issues, number one. And we need to have some kind of internship programs with these government departments also. So like summer internship. Social work people, they have the summer internship. Similarly, we can send our children to work there. They will get more insights about the issue, the functioning of the department, state, etc. So that will be very useful. That is number two. In addition to that, we have to identify various other organizations, corporate organizations. For example, in corporate organization, human resource development, corporate social responsibility, that is our domain. I don't think anybody else can contribute more than us. So it's a development activity that is being carried out by the corporates in every sphere. We have to give the placement, find the placement for our children in such departments. They will get the exposure, and concerned papers also should be included in our curriculum there. So that will give them the practical understanding of the issues and how to handle and all that kind of things. And even leadership training also we can get ourselves involved in public relations in organizations. Then communication specialists. So like when, for example, the food industry, how to communicate to the public about their product. So all these kind of things, there are many things. Though we are not able to offer these papers also, we can send our children to students over to different concerned departments and request them to offer the papers. That way we can find a lot of job opportunities for our students. In the sector, it is needless to tell, I need to provide ample opportunity. First of all, we got to know how NGO is being managed, how to get write the proposals, how to get the funding, community empowerment, how to work. Children should get into this community and they have to work with the people toward the empowerment of the people. The practical component is absolutely necessary for us. Even in research methodology also, theoretically teaching research methodology, it's not
Alone
that.
will not help.
And you have to apply research methodology, then how to manipulate the macro level data, macro level issues, and secondary data, how to use, and then even softwares, different kinds, sophisticated softwares are there. If there's a gap in the data for a particular period or a particular region, they can project easily. So that kind of softwares our children should be exposed. If they are trained in all these, actually they'll be able to get in the concerned departments as well as in the national level consultancy firms. There are innumerable consultancy firms working for the government department. They're earning fantastic amount.
Okay. Your engagements with some of these international organizations and various other funding agencies, I was only wondering for the larger audience, the data that you collect and the field in which you have been engaged with, can the data be used for your personal research apart from the report that you provide to them?
That definitely we cannot. That is why I was not able to publish also.
Okay.
So it's an agreement with them. They have the copyright over the report. Of course, they will put it in their website.
So your name gets reflected in the reports and other things.
Yeah,
That's all.
Yeah, that's all.
How do you expect the younger generation to navigate through these challenges that you are involved? Consultancy is there, teaching is there, and then there are international organizations. How do you expect them to navigate with these challenges?
And so the younger generation, we should we should not wait for the opportunity. We
Ah,
have to search for the opportunity and work.
okay.
For example, with the government departments. So like I have been listening to sociologists keep on telling that we are not considered by the policy formulators, we are not considered by the government or something like that. So like we have to work for them, we have to interact with them, we have to find out what are the issues. Definitely they are having hundreds of issues and we can identify the issues and we can work. We can give that as a project for our students also. For example, when I was teaching research methodology in the Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Youth Development, the students they didn't have any background at all. For all kinds of science backgrounds, mathematics, computer science, they used to come. So whatever you teach theoretically, they cannot understand. So what I used to do, the entire research process, I will make them to get it implemented. For example, I'm talking about they're taking a class on identifying the problem. I'll make them divide them into different groups. Come on, identify the problem. Then fine tune the problem. Then I evolve the object, make them to evolve the objectives, develop the hypothesis, then identify the research setting and respondents. I I made them to develop the tools. I made them to conduct small surveys and analyze the data. They have prepared small reports. I have considered them for their assignments.
Okay.
Because of that experience, even other department people also they started coming and attending the classes. If I have to take a class for 30 people, there will be around 70, 80 people.
Oh.
These children will go and tell that madam is taking like this, she is doing like this, then we will also come, we will also come. That's what they used to come. So let us make that practical exercises. That is very important.
It has been a wonderful journey, and your sharing of your experiences with this conversations as a how do you see sociology in the near future in India, 5 years, 10 years down the lane? Then how do the next generation should gear up to that? Is it that we have to follow the trend, or how do you suggest it should be?
See, always, for example, if you take a digital era, we have lot of problems. None of us focus on that at all. For example, AI. AI is supposed to be having lot of positive impacts, but at the same time, negative aspects are also there.
Challenges.
We have to work in these kind of new areas, and then we have to incorporate these things in our curriculum also. Give them the practical inputs. Then they will be able to get into that current trends. That is very important. So there are so many things like that. We have to, we have the closed perspective. We have to come out of that, and we have to make keen observation on the current issues and look at it in a very different angle, not in the very conventional sociological method. If needed, we can also collaborate with other disciplines also, make it interdisciplinary approach that will give very holistic understanding about the issue. That way we can, we have to work with the current trends. AI is the most important problem now. And it's true. One of my neighbors, she's working in US. She's doing her part-time PhD there. I asked her, "What are you doing?" And she's a journalist, as a matter of fact. She said, "I'm working on AI." What is there to work on AI? Yes. She was coming out with all kinds of problems involved in using that and this
artificial intelligence.
technologies. So we never work in digital technology at all. There are a lot of problems. I have prepared one proposal, but of course I have not conducted the research. That is digital crimes against the children. Children are so vulnerable now. So there are so many digital crimes. Data is available. You don't have to collect the data. Crimes Record Bureau is there. They have the data at the national level, state level they have. We can collect the data and we can carry out the projects. We can give them as group assignments also for our children. So the current trends, we have to identify the current trends, issues involved in that, and we have to probe into that and train our children also to analyze and understand and also develop strategic solutions to the problem.
Thank you very much, madam, for sparing your valuable time on behalf of ISS, and I would like to extend my thanks to you for a wonderful narration and again description of your journey throughout. I hope that this will definitely enrich the knowledge of sociology and also those who are looking for some information and insights in this direction.
Thank you very
I-
much, Dr. Surajesh.
Thank you very much.